Red Bull Rant is a free-flowing podcast with three soccer-loving idiots who don't know when to shut their dumb potty mouths. So listener discretion, yeah, it's pretty much advised.
Oublie ta peine, twiste et chante tous tes problèmes, et puis cet amour qui te manque. Oui, ne t'en fais pas, oublie tous tes ennuis. Un autre amour va commencer, et demain tout sera changé. Ah, oublie tes larmes, twiste et chante.
Welcome, my friends, to the Show Enough Friends. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. I'm your host, Jason Ipico, and this is episode 496, Midnight Poutine. As you can tell, Truman is not here, but don't worry, this is not a solo episode because I know those kind of suck. Today, I have as a guest host, familiar person for those that have been a long time listeners to the show. He is the host of the Feuerstein Fire podcast, Mr. Dan Feuerstein. Welcome back to the show.
Jason, it's always great to come back to be with you. Of course, unfortunately for Truman, he'll miss this opportunity, but that's okay. You have me all to yourself, sir.
And that just means, I mean, not that we can't talk Jets with Truman, but we could talk a little more in-depth Jet stuff. At least there's that.
Absolutely.
The goddamn Jets.
Yeah, we'll get more into that later.
Yes. Not a good start to the season, unfortunately, but look, hopefully our NFL team will not be 0-4 after Monday night.
And hopefully our MLS team will have one more win after Saturday night. But first, let's talk about what happened this past weekend. Red Bulls traveled up north to Montreal, and thankfully the road woes did not continue. 2-0 win at Montreal. Before we get into our thoughts, as we usually do, Blue Sky, two responses. First is from Carlson, RBNY22. I think this was technically before the game. Why the hell is Wiki still starting? And then Chico, a desperately needed win, and while I'm still annoyed that this was a desperately needed win, it's not too late for them to still make the playoffs. Dig deep, make the push, but still fire Schwartz. So, I don't know how you feel about this, because honestly I haven't been able to listen to your show in a while, but apparently there's at least a vocal minority that wants him gone.
I will say this, and as much as I've enjoyed Sandro managing the club, and there have been some moments where I think he may have miscalculated here and there, the real situation, I believe, it's all on Jochen Schneider. I don't think he has done enough when it comes to the transfer window. Now, let me just say he hit a home run last year bringing over Emil Forsberg, also bringing over Noah Ayla. He hit a home run before this season started, bringing over Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting. But in reality, his summer transfer windows have been a major miss. Now, he got away with it last year, going to the MLS Cup final. But with the injuries to both Lewis Morgan and Cameron Harper, he did not do what he was supposed to do to strengthen the squad. And right now, the Red Bulls are paying for it. And even though there's a very slim chance that they can still make the playoffs, and we'll probably get to that later on the show here, Jay, the truth of the matter is this. This really squares completely on the shoulders of Jochen Schneider. It really does.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at some point, the coach can only do so much with what he's given, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, this is not a new problem either. Team building is not something we've been great with over the years. Also, the last person that's been good at getting the right people has been Ali Curtis. Ever since he left, and I'm not saying we didn't have teams that could have gone farther. I'm just saying, in general, that the quality of our transfers, for the most part, have gone down since that point. Obviously, recently we've gotten some good off-season transfers, but you know, when you're trying to build a team and you never address the critical roles like a creative central midfielder, it's really tough for the coach to basically get any more blood out of that stone, right? Mm-hmm. The run to the playoffs, or the run to the MLS Cup last year, was honestly down to literally just playing, we're going to park the bus and then just hit on the counter when we can. That's what it was. It wasn't it wasn't high pressure. It was, we're going to counter the fuck out of you and let the chips fall what they may. And it worked. And as Truman and I have said repeatedly, it was an Andre Reyes illness that stopped us from having a real shot at MLS Cup. So
exactly. And to put Noah Ayla in that position to start, where he hasn't even been warming up as a starter, he was warming up basically as a reserve player to come off the bench. You threw in Noah Ayla in a very impossible situation, and even though they did get burned with those first 2 goals against, you can't really blame Ayla on it because of the situation that Andreas Reyes put the club in the championship finals. So, but once again, you know, the number one issue is right now not enough purpose in the summer transfer window to help the club at least improve their position as much as possible. As great as Mohamed Sofo has been, you can tell that the magic kind of wore off a little bit. And look, he's still a rookie in some sense, even though he was called up to be on from Red Bulls 2 to be on the main team after Lewis Morgan went down in the regular season opener in Cincinnati after that match. There's only so much that kid can do. And there's only so much that they are able to handle. And once again, it's just not enough from Schneider. And when Cameron Harper gets stepped on his ACL, on his knee, upper leg, I mean, whatever it was in Austin, there's a problem. And the attacking wingers are just not good enough right now. And so he had to get something. Now, obviously, Berggren, he's okay, but was he the one to actually improve the club? No. You needed more than just him. And right now, I mean, look, they had to win in Montreal. It was a very strong win. You have 3 matches remaining on the season. These next 2 are at home. The last one is in Columbus. The question is it too late, or will the MLS gods still find a way to help the Red Bulls go over the playoff line and knock out the Fire?
Interestingly enough, it's also possible to knock off Columbus at this point. And Nashville, those are really not going to happen, but it is mathematically possible. So let's talk about the Montreal game, and then we'll get into more of a general thing. So, likes and dislikes. So I try to end on the positive. So dislikes. Out of the Montreal game, what did you dislike the most?
The one I disliked the most was not enough goals, because I really thought they should have had at least more than 2. I know Montreal is stingy. I know they're going to play you hard, and they play even harder at home. But I felt they should have had at least more than 2. Other than that, I just did not have anything other negatives to bring about. Just they should have scored more goals than just 2.
So I'll be honest, I did not watch this game because I had tickets for a local theater production that night, and I was like, you know what? They're not going to win. I'm not going to waste my time. So I was checking the score during intermission, and I was surprised to see we're up to nothing. So my dislike is going to be the fact that the one time I decided not to tune into a road game, we actually win it.
You're a jinx.
Yeah, apparently I can't watch at least road games anymore. That's what my wife tells me. She might mean Red Bulls in general, because she's not necessarily. So on the show, I think it was last week or the week before, I was telling Truman this. My wife and I went over to England, and she loved going to Goodison Park for the Everton match, and now she is all about Everton. We're both members. She actually listens to the radio broadcast. They played a cup match on Tuesday night. Tuesday afternoon our time. She was listening to it while she worked, and I couldn't because of where I have to work. I didn't have the ability to listen to it.
Right.
So she does that for Everton. She will not do any of that stuff for Red Bulls. So that tells you what she thinks of this team right now. All right, likes. I'll let you go first again. What did you like the most about this match?
I liked that they were aggressive. I liked that they were looking hungry and that they were attempting to, end this losing streak, this winless streak on the road that's been plaguing them all season long. I liked their aggression. I liked how they attacked the net and that they just played hard and they just did not give up. Another thing I also I liked seeing Marcelo Morales getting his first MLS start this season. I know his first Red Bull start was in Leagues Cup against FC Juarez in Leagues Cup, but I think he's a future player. I think he's going to be fantastic as a fullback for the club down the road, depending on what they'll do with the roster for 2026. I really want to see Marcelo Morales not with Red Bull 2 next season. I want him on Red Bull number 1 because I really like what I saw from him.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I didn't see much of the match, so I can't speak to it. But what I will say is I like the fact that at this point, that game now represents 18% of our away goals for the year. All right.
Yep.
The fact that we've only scored 11 goals on the road, but 2 of them at least came in this game. So it's something, right? It's I'm looking at the list of games right now, and where we scored more than 2 goals on the road was one time. That was at DC back in May, which coincidentally was our last road win as well.
Yep. Yes, it was.
So apparently the key for us winning on the road is to score 2 goals. That's what I'm getting out of this game.
Exactly. That's what it is. And, honestly, it was about time that they get that win in Montreal because, look, Stade Saputo or the Olympic Stadium, those are 2 very difficult away venues for this club because of how strong of the support that Montreal does get from their fans. And once again, you just have to find a way to score the goals whenever you can, try and get them early, and then move forward, play strong defense. If you can get a 3rd or a 4th, fantastic. If not, look, they held the fort. Coronel was fantastic. He actually had a very good match, made some strong saves, and they just had to get this victory because if they did not get this result, they would have been in deep trouble.
If they didn't win, and realistically, they would not be making the playoffs.
Exactly.
Because let's see, they would be 5 points down with if everything else being equal, they would have been down 5 points with 3 matches left.
Mm-hmm.
And Chicago having a game in hand, so that's tough hill to climb. All right. I don't think there's anything else really to talk about for this game. Let's kind of turn to the bigger picture. So, Red Bulls currently sit 10th in the Eastern Conference, sitting at 43 points. They are 2 points off of Chicago, who's in the last playoff spot. 7 off of Columbus and Nashville. Now, technically, we can get to that. We can even get to Orlando in 51. It's not going to happen, clearly. Especially when we have to play Columbus again. And we don't have that with the first time. But let's look at the games that are left for both teams. Red Bulls, at least we have this. We have 2 home games out of 3 left. We had New York City FC this weekend, which we'll get more to in a minute. FC Cincinnati at home October 4th, so the weekend after. Then there's international break, and then they will finish up the season on the road in Columbus. Chicago, meanwhile, is playing Columbus tomorrow at home. Then they, on Tuesday, have to play at Inter Miami. So short turnaround, then the flight. Then October 4th, they play at home against Toronto. And then for the last week of the season, travel to New England to close it out. So if you were to look at this in terms of strength of schedule, Chicago has the easier run-in because they have 2 games against teams that are eliminated from the playoffs. The Red Bulls have 0. So as much as Chicago has a game in hand, they have 2 quote-unquote easier games than we do. And that's not necessarily a good odds for the Red Bulls. Now, can we make it to the playoffs? Yeah, crazier things have happened. But the odds do not look great at the moment.
No, they don't.
But, yeah.
Well, go ahead. I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. Go ahead. I was just going to go right to New York City, but we could talk about this a little more.
Well, I want to talk about this real quick because, see, here's the situation like we've already said. Right now, it doesn't look good for the Red Bulls because of the Chicago's 1 game in hand. Who are the opponents for Chicago? Obviously, they're going to be hosting Columbus. Then they're going to come down to go down to Miami. I think the last game on decision day is New England, and I forget who their 4th game is before the last game against New England.
Home to Toronto.
Home to Toronto. So here's the thing. Depending on what happens against Columbus, they need to at least drop 2 points or the full 3 against Columbus. And if Miami's going to continue to fight and battle, and it's going to be down in Miami, that should be a win for Miami. So hopefully you're seeing at least maybe 5 to 6 points dropped. Because if you're expecting a draw against Columbus, because Columbus is going to fight, and they're going to scratch and claw, and the Red Bulls win on the weekend against New York City FC, which we'll get to in a minute. The other fact, that's an opportunity for the Red Bulls to jump back over the playoff line and leapfrog over Chicago. Now, also, what some people are not looking at are other factors that can help the Red Bulls out. Because if the Red Bulls win and Chicago does lose and or draws, the Red Bulls can leapfrog on points to being equal. But at this point in time, Red Bulls are ahead of Chicago on goal difference. They are on a plus. It's a little tight. It's currently on a +1. But if they can remain on the winning streak and finish off strongly, they can stay above Chicago on goal differential. Like I said, it's a little tight right now. It's on a +1 advantage for the Red Bulls. But still, though, what the Red Bulls need to do is win and win and win. You finish off with 3 straight wins. Chicago somehow trips up themselves. Then, the Red Bulls will be back over the playoff line.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy thing. But there is possibility. And like I said, kind of a dark horse in this as well is the fact that Columbus, Nashville, Orlando, none of them have clinched their playoff spots yet. Right? Mm-hmm. Chicago's got to go to Columbus first before anything else. We at least have to wait till the end of the year. So, in theory, we might get if we're fighting on that last day, we might get a Columbus team that, granted, would play us tough because they always do, but might be one looking to not push as hard. We do have New York City, we do have Cincy, who were 5 and 2nd in the Eastern Conference, respectively. Hopefully there's a little bit of a... I'm looking at Cincinnati. Oh, fuck. Okay, never mind. Cincinnati still has a shot at number 1 in the East, so they're going to fight. New York City's going to fight because of playoff seeding. So Red Bulls have tough, but you never know how things are going to go. And it's very possible Chicago also trips on 2 games that, in theory, they should win in New England and Toronto. So there are chances. It's just, can the Red Bulls take advantage? Now, like we said, the best part of this is that we have 2 home games left. We are a much better team at home, as we all know. I'm looking at the MLS site. At home, we are 10-2-3. On the road, it's almost a mirror 2-10-4. So those two home games are going to now be very, very, very critical to even having a shot at the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, let's look now at the first one of those two games. Red Bulls this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, will host New York City FC in the Hudson River Derby. New York City comes into this game with a 16-5-10 record, 53 points, a +7 goal difference, fifth in the Eastern Conference. Their last 5 has been 3 wins, bookended by 2 losses. But New York City does have a match over the Red Bulls so far this year, 2-0 win for New York City FC at, I believe, was Citi Field.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have multiple homes, so I don't know which home it is at this point. I think it was Citi Field. Truman did come in with his prediction. Now, he said, let me read exactly what he wrote, because otherwise it's not going to make sense. He said, I am gonna get wild, 2-1 win for the Red Bulls. So he's putting a lot of confidence in, or semi-confidence into the Red Bulls. Before I give my prediction, though, Dan, what do you think is going to happen on Saturday?
Well, before I give you my prediction, some news to pass along. Alonso Martinez is out. Quad injury. So he is not going to play this Saturday. Which means, look, they still have good goal scorers on their club, obviously, in New York City FC, but knowing the Red Bulls being at home, it's been the biggest equalizer for them this year. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this right now because usually Alonso Martinez is the table setter. I believe that the Red Bulls can win this game, and I think it's also going to be a 2-1 scoreline. City will make it tough on them, but I believe the Red Bulls will finally gain some revenge, and they will split the regular season series, and they'll get the full 3 points.
So I really do want to say they're going to win. I have a bad feeling they're going to lose and make the playoff push that much harder. But I feel like I got to say win only because it's New York City. Mm-hmm. We play them tough.
Yep.
I do not think 2-1, though. I think it's going to be a nail-biting affair. I'm going to go with a 1-0 victory because it's not going to be easy. This is the scoreline we had to get to beat them in the playoffs last year, and this is kind of where we're at, where every match is now a playoff match.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be that kind of affair for us, and it's going to be a 1-0 victory. Very hard fought, very, very like a lucky goal to get out of the match with a win, but I feel like that's where it's going.
Yep. I mean, it can. I mean, without a doubt. This is going to be a very, very difficult match, no matter how you slice it. It's the New York Derby. It's always going to be a hard-fought match. And if the Red Bulls can pull it off, that only puts the pressure on Chicago even more. It also puts pressure on Orlando, and as we already said, Columbus and Nashville. So it's a big, big test for the Red Bulls, and they have to make sure they do not cough up their 3rd loss at home on the season. 2 is enough. Don't get number 3, and power through.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Red Bulls 2. They've clinched their playoff spot, but they had to finish out the regular season. The last match was a 4-2 penalty kick loss to Miami 2. Their record right now is 16-5-5, 55 points, a +12 goal difference, first in the Eastern Conference of MLS Next Pro. And the next match is at FC Cincinnati 2 on Wednesday, October 1st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Gotham FC drew their last match in the league at Bay FC. That puts them now with a record of 8-7-6, 31 points, a plus 10 goal difference, third in the league. And their next match is coming up before our next show will be on. Actually, I just realized they're playing right now because I originally wrote this little backstage thing. I was supposed to do this last night on Thursday. Didn't happen, and then that's why Dan's here because Truman couldn't make it.
Truman.
He agreed to Friday, and then immediately told me, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got to back out." But so right now, Gotham is up 2-0 at home against the Portland Thorns. Live tables, even with the win, they still stay in third place in the NWSL. Then their match midweek will be against the Washington Spirit in the Women's Champions Cup Wednesday, October 1st, 7 p.m., which they're doing very well there. Undefeated so far in group play. With that, it is now time for the Formula One update.
What the fuck was he doing? Honestly. Is he a fucking prick or what?
That's it. Dan, I know you're not a Formula One person. I'm pretty sure I said that last time we were on the show. That everybody was George Russell, driver for Mercedes. I'm pretty sure he was talking about Max Verstappen, the Red Bull's driver that just won the second race in a row for the team over this past weekend in Azerbaijan. They're off this week, but they're let me see where they're back. I feel like they're in Singapore. I could be wrong. But yeah, they're in Singapore coming back next weekend, the 4th and 5th. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this question. I know you're down in Florida.
Yes.
Is there any local interest in the Miami Grand Prix?
As far as I'm aware of, I think there is. I know a lot of people do go to the Hard Rock Stadium every summer for the Miami Grand Prix. I don't know if that's Formula One or IndyCar, but there are. It's always a good time over there, as much as I understand it.
Yeah, Miami Grand Prix. It was back in May, but that's Formula One. Mm-hmm. I don't know if IndyCar would drive there. I was just curious because I feel like a lot of the especially like Miami, like the bigger name places, it's more the crowd is celebrities coming in than anything else. Mm-hmm. So I was just curious what people down in Florida thought. All right. Anyway, with that, let's move on to the dumping ground.
I'm the trash man.
All right. So, before we get on to the Jets, which we will in a minute, I think I'm sorry. I just saw this update. Gotham is now up 3-0. Sorry. So last week we were talking about an ESC member who passed away, Chiefs. I don't know if you ever had a chance to meet the guy, but Truman knew him very well, so we were talking about him, and we'd ask people for voicemails or whatever thoughts they had on him. We did get a voicemail. I think it was the day after we recorded from our good friend Eddie, so I'm going to play that real quick.
Hey guys, it's been a while. It's been hard to really say this out loud, but I didn't really know Tom the Chiefs for that long. But compared to you guys, but he genuinely was one of the first people I ever met in ESC when I joined in 2021. He was one of the few people that actually looked over and spoke to me and got me involved in conversation and whatnot. And really such a great guy. Such a great guy to speak to at tailgates when he still popped up. We still drank and everything, see each other in section, talk shit about this fucking team. And, I hate the Rangers with as much of my heart as I can give. But it was always such a great time to talk to him about hockey in general. Where he was just busting his balls about the Rangers, over recent times. And after finding out yesterday, it's still hard to just come up with, the notion, knowing that he's gone. But for the limited time that I was able to know Tom, I'm so glad that I got to know him. Fucking great guy. And I said this on Instagram, but I hope you can have a Yingling for us up there. Thanks again, guys.
Dan, I don't know if you knew Tom at all. Unfortunately, I did not, because I was saying, I didn't join ESC until I had moved out of state, so I didn't have a chance to really meet a bunch of the guys there. But Truman had nothing but good things to say. Jimmy, Kate said all us nothing but good things to say. Eddie, same thing. I don't know if you ever had a chance to meet the guy.
I have. Tom Shadowski, Chiefs, great guy. I admit I've never hung out with him, but I've always, whenever I get the opportunity to go over the Passaic River on that bridge, and I got to the hangout where the ESC was at the time, over at now Sports Illustrated Stadium. Always loved talking with him about soccer. Always loved talking to him about the Rangers, because I'm a Rangers fan as well. Just one of those guys that would love to have a conversation with you, loves to talk anything and everything, whether it be the Rangers, whether it be the Red Bulls, the U.S. men's national team, anything and everything. And, when I heard the news through social media of his passing, it killed me. I'm just so sorry that he had to go that way. Jay, honestly, our lives are so fragile. 1 minute you're walking down the block, you're grabbing a slice, you're heading over to the stationery store, you're getting your lottery, you're getting your candy bars, you're getting your comics. Next day, all of a sudden, you go for a walk, and then you just fall flat on your face, and you just don't move. This one really shocked me. I don't think he was that old, but it's very, very sad. And, and to the Shadowski family, we obviously were sending our condolences to his parents, his sister. I didn't know if he was dating anyone or if he was married, but if he was dating, to, his girlfriend or his fiance or his wife, we send condolences to her as well. But this really shocked me, because I didn't expect this to happen to a guy like that. And we did lose one of the great ones.
Yeah. You're talking about, the general idea of here one moment, gone the next. And before we started recording it, we're not going to get into details, but we were talking about work and stuff like that, and you put it in the context of life in general, you kind of think, well, why am I so concerned about that? I mean, you get the why in the moment, but it's just one of those things, like, in the end, does it really matter as much? It's one of those things that you have to consider, and it doesn't really matter who it is. I mean, there's and like I said, unfortunately, I didn't know Tom all that well. But there's people that, for everybody, that come into their lives and leave such an impression, no matter how short the moment is or how long that person's in their lives, right? And those are the people that you never want to see leave.
Nope.
And unfortunately, it's human nature. It has to at some point.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But like we said, Jay, it's just this one really got me. Just as much as, the day we lost Glenn Stamp, that, made me sad. This one really hit me harder, because Tom didn't think that was ever going to happen to him the way it did.
I mean, nobody really thinks it's going to happen the way it does. That's unfortunate, that the truth of it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right. I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to minimize it, but let's take the energy up a little bit.
No, we have to move on. No, listen,
Yeah, we
have to move on, obviously. Look, I think everyone understands. Look, we're giving our condolences to Tom and his family, and it's, but we have to move on and get back to business, folks. That's all it is.
And we're going to do something that Tom will love to do anyway, just complain about sports. So, I mean, it works out, right?
It does.
It's not the Rangers, but it is time to talk about the
Goddamn Jets.
Oh my God. Okay, let's go.
Aaron Glenn's tenure is not off to a good start.
No.
Week 1, I thought it was, honestly, I was like, okay, I'll buy this loss. It's whatever. It's a 60-yard field goal. It's Aaron Rodgers in a revenge game. I get it. And you just lay a complete egg against Buffalo. And you for 3/4 of a game, you lay an egg against Tampa. And Tampa lets you back in the game. And you get that kick block for a touchdown return. And it's like, okay, maybe now the defense will finally step up. And no, it's just no.
No.
Defense is going to let them get an easy field goal, and it's over.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I know. It's been mostly a defensive problem for the Jets. Is it Steve Wilks? Is it Aaron Glenn? Is it a combination of both? We all know that the head coach, at the end of the day, the head coach gets the majority of the blame. But in reality, there's problems and they need to solve these problems quickly before it really gets out of hand. It's really been terrible when you have a defense leaking yardage to the opposition, and when you're watching basically a corner colliding with his own teammate and allowing a chunk yardage play for the Bucks. It's just mind-blowing.
And that was late in the fourth quarter. That wasn't even like beginning of the game.
It was late in the fourth quarter. And when you're seeing your edge rusher and Michael Clemens just being, defended very well from getting to the running back, that's even more damning, isn't it? And I thought that was a hold, but then again, once again, the referees are not going to call it. So if they're not going to call that, they're not going to call that much of anything, unfortunately. But still, though,
they didn't call a roughing penalty when Justin Fields gave himself up and got hit. So
I know. It's always, it's the same old song. But let me just say this. Hopefully, some of the moves the Jets have made on the defense is now fixable. And it will come this Monday night against the Dolphins in Miami, because they really need to avoid being in the basement. Because I will say this, half of the fan base, maybe now 3/4 of the fan base, is on Aaron Glenn's backside right now, because no one wanted him to be the head coach. And I keep asking the same question over and over. Who wanted this job? When have you ever heard of a assistant coach or a coordinator who wants to become a head coach? When did you ever hear someone saying, I wanted this job? Nobody. I know Vrabel was the number one target on every Jet fan's mind, but when the Patriots fired Mayo, everyone knew Vrabel wanted to go to New England. Everybody knew. So, there's nothing you can do about it.
Nope.
And I keep hearing, well, we should have gotten an offensive coordinator. Why are we going back to a defensive coordinator to be a head coach? Does that even matter? Really? Should that even matter what side of the ball our next head coach has to be from?
No, honestly, it should. And I'm not saying Aaron Glenn is not going to be a good coach for the Jets or a good coach in general, but it should have been an experienced coach. I know it's tough, because what experienced coach was going to want to come to this franchise with the dysfunction been reported over the last 5-6 years?
Exactly.
So realistically, that's what the Jets needed to rebuild themselves. Now, Can Aaron Glenn do it? Yeah, maybe. But in a team who has not made the playoffs since an AFC title game in 2010.
Yes.
So we're now talking, it will be 16 years by the time the playoffs get around.
Mm-hmm.
Can they afford... And we're, 10 years from a winning season at this point?
Yes.
At what point
does
the franchise need to win, at least get a winning season or a playoff berth?
Yeah.
Because it's got to stop at some point.
It does have to stop at some point. And do I think we have some talented players on the team? Yes. Are they completely talented? Absolutely not. There are still holes on this team, and the depth is now a big issue. Because Quincy Williams is now on IR, so he'll be missing 4 games with the shoulder automatically. Marceliano McCreary Ball is also out. They brought over in a trade from the Titans Jarvis Brownlee, the corner, and a lot of Titans fans are very upset. Very, very upset. They didn't want him traded, and they just traded him to the Jets. So is that advantage Jets? Sounds like it is. We'll find out. I don't know if he'll be ready to go Monday night. I think I heard he might be recovering from some sort of an injury. But look, if he is ready to go, then so be it. But right now, you've got 2 teams that are 0-3. We're gonna have a dogfight here to avoid the basement, and hopefully it will be the Jets and not the Dolphins. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I was concerned Sauce Gardner was going to be out for concussion protocol, but it looks like he's been okay at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm going to bring the sound effect out. I'm hoping this is going to work correctly, because the last few weeks I played this on the show, it hasn't.
It's fucking embarrassing!
And that's 15 years worth of it's fucking embarrassing.
That's right.
Here's the weird thing. So I work with a Bills fan.
Uh-oh.
He's respectful, right? We're respectful about each other. We don't do anything bad or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He is actually rooting for us because he'd rather see the Dolphins lose.
Yep.
It's kind of weird. I know it's not rooting for the Jets to win, but it's still weird to think that it's somebody that's not a fan of either team is in our corner.
True, but maybe he hates Tua more than he hates the Jets.
It sounds like he hates the Dolphins in general more than the Jets.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like I said, Tua has not been that good. The offense has not been that good. The defense has been absolutely horrible. I mean, you get blown out by the Colts on the first week of the season in Indianapolis to Daniel Jones of all quarterbacks. That's an embarrassment.
Yeah. Actually, how did the Colts do the last 2 weeks? Because I didn't see anything except for that first week. Is Daniel Jones actually doing better now?
At the moment, he is.
Because ex-Jets quarterbacks are doing okay.
Well, what would you expect? I mean, the franchise, the future franchise quarterback is in Seattle now after he left Minnesota.
It's almost like not every player just goes from 0 to 100.
Yep.
Some take time to build.
Yep, it will. And I understand the frustration, and I understand. Look, I've been frustrated myself. There have been so many years where I try to find the brighter side of things, but in reality, it's just been a lot harder now because of this losing streak and this non-playoff clinching losing streak that just continues to bother us. So, what are you going to do? Nothing you can do about it.
Just ask Woody to sell the team. That's it.
Well, until that happens, keep wishing. Keep wishing, Jay, because it's not going to happen.
Oh, it's not going to happen. I get it. I just wish the Hess family never sold the team. But that's too late to take back, so.
Yep.
All right. I don't think I have anything else to talk about, so let's move on to Well, it's not Truman's terrible team of the week. I guess it's mine. It's first ever edition of Jason's terrible team of the week.
That's terrible.
I am going to give it to the team that we are playing on Saturday. Because New York City got smoked 4-0 at home by Miami.
Right.
I know it's Miami, but they've been struggling. And you're at home. Not be losing 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there's not... Because I think we talked about on the week before the Vancouver game, so I can't use that as the 7-0 over Philly, so I can't use that one.
Right.
I'll just give it to New York City because why not? Everybody laugh at the kid across the river. It's fine. All right. Let's wrap this one up. Before I read off our stuff, Dan, where can people find you online?
Okay, so online, you can still find me on Twitter or X, capital letter D, capital letter F, lowercase EU, ER, S as in Sam, TEIN. I do have a Blue Sky account through the same handle, so you can look for me over there. I am now writing on the Red Bulls and other sports at baddogsports.com. That's spelled with a DAWG. So D as in David, A as in Apple, W as in world, and G as in ghost. baddogsports.com. Also writing at Beyond the 90 at beyondthe90.substack.com. And of course now on YouTube with the Feuerstein's Fire American Soccer Show.
By the way, this is completely random, but I was looking. So this is our first episode using Riverside as our recording because Zoom sucks with limits and everything else. I was just looking at your Blue Sky, and you're using StreamYard, and I literally looked at that yesterday. I'm like, I can't afford that. So sorry, just really weird coincidence. I just happened to notice. That's all.
Yeah, that's why my budget's bigger than yours. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Joking.
You have advertisers because we don't. I mean, I don't have a way to pay for it.
Yes.
Well, let me phrase it.
Yes, I have I actually have an advertiser.
Let me phrase it. We have Patreon, which I'll get to in a second. We have Patreon, but we don't have enough money from that to pay for things, except for a SoundCloud, which we use for our hosting. So, all right, so with that, actually, perfect segue. Patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. $1 a month gets you exclusive content whenever we decide to do it. Trim and I have been kicking around an idea of... Actually, I'm going to ask you this.
Sure.
I don't think... Because this is an episode Trim and I mentioned. We just haven't gotten around to talking about actually doing it. We were talking about having a show dedicated to like our top 5 stadium experiences, with obviously the focus on soccer. Real quick, give me your like top 3 soccer stadiums.
My top 3 soccer stadiums at this point in time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me caveat, because this is ones that we would have gone to ourselves. So
right.
Keep that in mind.
I understand what you're saying. My 3 top soccer stadiums are this. Not in any order. I guess also not including Sports Illustrated Stadium, because that's always going to be number 1. But I mean, you want me to include that or no?
I think we kind of assumed that would be in your list, so let's keep it out for now.
That's fine. For the stadiums that I have been to for soccer, definitely now it's called Inter & Co Stadium, so that's number 3 for me.
What is that? Because I don't remember the...
Number 2, I have to go with Subaru Park down in Chester. And number 1 at this point in time, because I was able to take the Amtrak down to our nation's capital. It's Audi Field. I could have gone with the old RFK, but in reality, that's originally an NFL stadium, even though soccer was played there. But Audi Field right now is number 1 for me, all because of travel by Amtrak and, of course, using the DC Metro to get there, and just walking around whenever I stay over at Washington, D.C. And, of course, it's not far away. It's like a good block away diagonally from where the Washington Nationals are. So it's a really great area. And it's even gotten better since the last time I was there. So
Orlando, Philly, DC,
Yes.
basically. Okay.
I have been to Chase, but right now, Chase Stadium, where Inter Miami plays, it's just, it just doesn't do it for me. It's just there, you know?
I mean, it's like a temporary stadium.
That's
the
all
way
it
they built
is.
it, right? So
Yeah. I mean, it's an actual real stadium, but it's only a temporary venue because I think what they're going to do is they're going to have their two-team play there. But
the reason I called it temporary is because when Messi came, they literally just built a bunch of bleachers for him.
Right, exactly. That's why it's only temporary. That's why they're still building. They are constructing the new downtown stadium near Miami International Airport, and it's also not far away from the commuter rail, which is called Tri-Rail, and which is also the Amtrak station, which it terminates over at the airport.
You know, this is a tangent, but I wish Amtrak, the Northeast Corridor, was much cheaper. I understand why. I understand it basically funds the rest of Amtrak because of how much it's used. Mm-hmm. But, God, I would love to be able to... Because there's an Amtrak station not too far from my house. You want to take a guess? So I'm pretty sure the last time I looked was last year. You want to take a guess, and you have a general idea of where I live. I'm not gonna say that out loud, but you have a general idea of where I live and what Amtrak station I would go to.
Right.
You know roughly what it would cost for me to go round trip up to Newark.
I mean, I can take a look. I mean,
no, I want you to guess off the top of your head.
Oh,
just
probably,
as a guess.
Oh, round trip probably. If it's a regular train, it'd be like probably round trip, $160, $170.
Yeah, last time I looked for a Saturday night, it was, and I'm gonna look up tomorrow right now. So round trip right now, one way. I can't tell if it's one way. Okay, this is the coach seat, cheapest coach seat available. One way, actually, for some reason, I guess the round trip didn't take effect. One way was $200. Now I'm gonna do an actual round trip, not just because I realized how. Okay, so round trip, and these times do not work for me because the latest train out would have been 6:25 p.m. So I didn't even watch the game with this. Right now, round trip is actually $333.
$333? Wow, is that with Axela or regular?
It looks like it's it's the regular Northeast Regional.
Wow, that's crazy.
I think it is, right? Yep, Northeast Regional. It's not Acela. But it's cheapest coach seats available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, when I realized where the Amtrak station was, like, oh, nice. Instead of driving 2 hours, I could take Amtrak. I was like, oh, but it's 2 hours, and I have to pay so much more. Well, at that point, I might as well drive.
Yeah. Oh, coach. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Now
even going through the turnpike and the crazy amount of tolls that it is now is still cheaper in both directions.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
No, it is. That's strange. I mean, there is one. But you're in Virginia or Maryland?
Maryland. And
are you south of Baltimore or north?
North.
Because if you go from Baltimore to Newark, it's 106 one way.
Maybe because I guess because the station I'd go out of then.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, I guess it doesn't get as many stops.
Right.
Okay. All right, that's enough of the train talk segment.
Darn! I love the train talk segment.
Only we had Sheldon on, then we could talk all night about trains.
Okay.
I'm curious how many people actually get that reference. All right, so anyway, Patreon. I want to thank the producers, Jeremiah Dempster, Steven Santos, Eddie Delecto. Thank you guys for supporting the show. If you want to email us, redbullrant@gmail.com. If you want to call us like Eddie did and leave a voicemail, 973-348-5329. Facebook.com/redbullrant. On Blue Sky at Red Bull Rant for the show, at Dr. Stooge for myself, at The Truman for Truman. Instagram and Threads at Red Bull Rant. You can subscribe to our show via iTunes, YouTube Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. Dan, any last words before we get out of here?
My last words are this. Live your life to the fullest, but always support your club.
It almost feels like a club over country way you're going with that.
I just something, you know, how you call it, back in the day, Adventures Club in Walt Disney World, that what used to be called Pleasure Island. It's always say, what was that word? Some days you eat the bear and some days the bear eats you, but always dress for the hunt. So I kind of did something like that.
Oh, God, I think I know what you're talking about now. God, yes, I know what you're talking about now. No, because I remember going there as a kid, and I remember like the lounge waiting area with all the animatronics on the walls. Yes, God.
Yes.
Sorry. You started saying that as soon as you said Pleasure Island, though, it kicked in.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
That's been so long since I've been there. Is that even around anymore?
No, it's gone. It's gone. Now it's called Disney
surprised
Springs. Now it's just called
Of
Disney
course.
Springs. It's terrible.
Because why keep things that are good?
I know. Exactly. Why?
All right. So for Dan Feuerstein and myself, this has been episode 496 of the Red Bull Rant. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, go Red Bulls.
Go Red Bulls.